Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive into Star Fox Zero, thanks to some new footage from the most recent and first in a long time Nintendo Direct, where we saw Star Fox Zero looking better than ever. Now granted, I'm joined by Neil. I
Hi.
should probably say
Hi.
that.
Yeah, I'm here too. Yay, Star Fox.
So obviously, I mean, if you've seen me and Neil's previous deep dive into Star Fox, then you know that we thought it was cool before it was cool to think it was cool.
Well, I don't know.
Um,
Like, is the buzz really that it's cool now, or is everybody
I
still
don't know.
parroting the same
I haven't been on the
stuff?
internet. It's like E3 all over again, where like I'm sitting there like, boy, everybody else must think this is the coolest
Yeah.
thing in the world, and then I go on the internet, I'm like, oops,
I mean,
everyone else
not to
hates
get
it.
too off track, but I think there was the Hyrule Warriors Direct last year that like I just watched because it was during a time where I was just sitting at home. I had it on my TV and I watched that. I was like, that was great. And I went
Yeah,
online and everyone was like, that was terrible. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay. I guess I was wrong. But that's how I feel about Star Fox Zero.
right.
Both you and I, we played it a bunch at E3 and we dug it a whole lot. And then everybody seemed to think it was terrible. And then it got delayed, so they won. And now we're here where we saw a bunch of new footage in this November 2015 Nintendo Direct, first in a long time, as you said, and oh, it looks so good. It looks
It
so
looks
good.
When it looks better. By the time this goes up, there will be another video where I go through and kind of break down the differences as far as like technically what are different between this build and the previous build, just based on what we've seen. But in short, higher texture resolution, better lighting engine with higher shadow
Yeah,
resolution, and translucent windows so we can see
we could
all the
see into their
pilots.
ships. And then there's that
Um,
weird thing with the reticule, that whenever you fire, it seems like you have like the square and then there's like a diamond on top of it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So just in case you didn't know, you were shooting a laser.
Yeah, and then the great welcoming back of bombs, because back at E3, the talk was that smart bombs weren't going to be in the game. That's what we heard. Like, I don't think it was ever anything very definitive. And sometimes you'll fall into that trap at E3 where people will be like, "Well, it's not in the demo. I don't know. I guess it's not there."
But even if I remember right, in the big Nintendo Digital event, they talked about how the controls, there was just one button.
Yeah,
You use one button to shoot, and that's it. And everything else you do with the sticks.
yep,
And so it was sort of, they didn't directly say it, but it was definitely implied that there were no bombs.
yeah.
I don't know if they added that because of the huge, fan base of bombs that just revolted against them, or if they just weren't there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
Um,
very curious, kind of in a broad perspective, on what exactly was being added or refined in the 5 month delay to this game. Because as we know, from this Nintendo Direct, even though well, it was originally supposed to come out a week after this Nintendo Direct aired, but in actuality, the release date is now April 26th, right? Or is it
22nd.
okay? 20 April 20. It's, and you know what? It's April 26th, I believe, in Europe. Um,
Haha.
and I think it's April 21st in Japan. So it's late April
God. Yeah.
across the world.
Well, the worst part is that it got replaced with Mario Tennis.
Yeah, yeah, that's very
That's
sad.
just adding insult
I
to
I,
injury.
I side note, played some Mario Tennis. I don't recommend it. That's neither here nor there. Let's focus on the Star Fox.
Right.
Um,
Um.
so where I mean, a lot of what we saw was very much what we kind of saw before. It just looked prettier. Like, what does that make you feel about how this game is going to play out from a story perspective?
I think, well, from a story perspective, one thing that we should note, that before they showed all the gameplay and stuff, where Bill Trinen was talking over it and all that, they showed that trailer. I think on YouTube it's called like "Introducing Star Fox" or
Yep.
something like that. And at the bottom it has that disclaimer that says, "Hey, this is an actual gameplay, obviously." Um, but if you look at it like based on the fact that there's kind of some rough anti-aliasing and low shadow resolution and stuff like that, it is probably done in game engine as opposed to like a pre-rendered thing. So that
Yeah.
is what that kind of would lead me to suspect maybe is that those could even be scenes from actually like cinematics in the game, which would be cool.
I
Because
I think so.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know. I guess I was worried. My one kind of concern with what we saw at E3 was that, i- apart from, the little talkie boxes at the bottom, we didn't really see anything of the actual pilots.
Yeah.
It was very much just the ships. And one of the things that I liked about, Assault, and I'll even go there and say Adventure, is that you really did get to dive into like how weird and cheesy those characters were.
Yeah. I mean,
And so I would hate
especially
for
in
them to
Assault.
lose that.
Because
Yeah. Oh,
Assault, like I've got some bones to pick with Assault, and I mean, you just finished off a playthrough, and I would imagine that I would hope that you've come to your senses, and it's like, there's some things in Assault that aren't that great.
there are like two levels that I don't like. But that's it.
I
I
mean,
actually really like this still.
but I will stand by that Assault is not a terrible game, but it is a game with flaws. But I think one of the flaws is not the story. I think the story of that game is very like it fits the tone of the world. It's there are some stakes in a kind of space opera way, and it's very kind of goofy and tongue in cheek because after all, at the end of the day, you're a bunch of anthropomorphic animals.
Right. Yeah.
And it seems like what we've seen of the story kind of understands that. Maybe relying a little bit too heavily on what Star Fox 64 was, which kind of introduced that space opera with anthropomorphic animals style. And this seems to be going far in that direction, and it looks just way more polished from what we saw before.
Right. And my hope with that trailer that we saw is that there is sort of like a very I'm hoping that there is a very cinematic story like Assault had,
Yeah,
where we do see the characters kind of outside of their R wings, and because that, I mean, like you said, that was easily Assault's best feature, was just seeing those characters in the most stupid, but like, I mean, I even said when I was during the Let's Play, I commented that the story of this game is so stupid, but it just does it for me.
yeah.
Like, it's so great.
Like Prince Tricky, who after replaying the majority of Star Fox Adventures this year, like I want to punt that little shit off a
Oh
cliff.
yeah,
But even the dinosaur planet stage in Assaults, like it's pretty fun. Like,
yeah. That would be one of the
well, no, I mean
stages.
maybe
That
not
and Corneria are like the two stages.
maybe
I'm like,
not the
I don't
level
like this one.
maybe not the level itself, but as far as like the setup for going to see Tricky, like that
Yeah,
wasn't bad.
yeah,
It's the equivalent of like I mean I don't want to invoke Star Wars prequels, but it's like going back to Tatooine in Episode 1. You're kind of like, oh, I've been here before.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
once again, that wasn't the issue about Episode 1. There are far deeper issues. It wasn't the fact that you went back to Tatooine.
Yeah. One thing I will mention, since you mentioned, obscure, unbeloved side characters, we haven't seen anyone in this game except for the Star Fox team,
And that,
General Pepper, and then that one boss guy from
yeah,
Corneria.
yeah,
I'm really curious to see, like, hopefully we'll get Wolf back and his whole team, because once again, Star Fox Assault, Wolf was awesome.
yeah.
Uh, and maybe Oinkany.
Oh yeah. Well,
Hopefully
I guess
not.
what would be your ideal Star Wolf team? I mean, there'd be Wolf. Well, we saw Pigma. Pigma showed
Oh,
up.
we do know Pigma's in
Yeah,
it. So I mean, but then by logically, I guess we can assume that Star Wolf is in it.
yeah. Although I guess because this isn't it's a reboot sort of, but not. I don't know.
Right. It's yeah.
It's like takes place. It's an Elseworlds tale. I don't know.
I mean, technically, Star Fox 64 was a reboot too.
Yeah.
It just only had one, well, like one and a half kind of games to reboot. So
Yeah, because then I guess you got Wolf, you got Pigma, and I guess yeah, Andrew Orkney, and I mean, I would
oh,
go.
Leon.
Yeah, it's Leon, and then yeah, Panther Caruso was the guy who replaced
Oh yeah.
Pigma.
We can
I
leave
think.
him out.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
But yeah, Leon, I am the great Leon. Like, get that junk back in there. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how Star Wolf plays into this, and I mean, I would assume that Andros is going to be the big bad. Has that been 100% confirmed? I don't even know if it has.
Yes.
Okay.
On like on the teaser site, they talk
Okay,
about
okay.
Andros. And then there are some ships in. There's some
Yeah,
gameplay from
yeah,
E3
yeah. I
of
do
Sector
remember
A,
that.
and the
Yep.
ships have Andros's face on them,
It-
like Sector whatever that was.
I think
from
yeah, I think
Sector
even in the
Y.
Corneria level from E3, I think there was some Andros.
Some Andros heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
something like that. There was some marking that you're like, okay, that's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how Wolf plays into it, and also, I guess, kind of going back to gameplay. We know that this is going to support Amiibo, and we know that apparently there's a two-player mode.
Was that confirmed in this, or
That
I know
wasn't.
they mentioned it at
It is
E3?
on the website that there is a
Is
two-player
it?
mode and
Okay.
that there is Amiibo support.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna have a Falco amiibo. I think that's November 20th is when he comes out in North America. And I know there's been talk about an R-Wing amiibo.
A transforming Arwing
Yeah,
amiibo.
which that
I
would be
will buy
super
4
cool.
of
Yeah.
those because I need the whole team.
What would you even think that they would do with amiibo in this game?
I have no. Maybe you can play as that character. They did. I mean, you could if we're gonna like just make wild theories. Um, in that cinematic trailer, they do how they introduce all the characters is they show them all inside their ship. Maybe you can play as other characters by
That
scanning amiibos.
that would be pretty cool. And maybe even you could. I mean, I don't know. Like, I wonder if there's going to be a separate multiplayer mode, or if it's just going to be like co-op, where it's like one like you basically split it up where one person controls it, like one person looks at the TV and controls the ship, and the other person fires with the
Yeah,
gamepad. Like,
I mean,
I think that's a
I'd
way
be
you could
okay
do.
with that. I mean, I think that'd be fun.
Or will there be a separate mode that's a two-player mode?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if that'll be the case, but maybe that's the key to what Amiibo would do in this game, is that there might be a secondary mode.
yeah. Maybe you can customize your Arwing and save it to your Arwing amiibo.
Yeah, like you get
Custom paint jobs
yeah,
and
get
loadouts.
some rad tats all over your Amiibo or your
Yeah,
Amiibo R-Wing.
it could be like Ace Combat where when you scan an amiibo, then you get like a weird skin for your plane.
I mean, that would actually be pretty cool. Like,
You can have like a Princess Peach Arwing.
yeah, you can have a Rob R-Wing, just look like an R-Wing, I guess. You can have a oh, God, the robot's name. Oh God, how am I blanking? Isn't it just Rob?
Rob 64?
Rob 64, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe he'll be like Rob you. Well, it is.
I,
We do have that little robot guy, Direct Eye.
yeah.
I mean, that's
I
cool.
should point out since you mentioned Rob, that I loved watching the new footage of it. It had all of like the English voice acting because obviously I feel like most of that stuff is probably done at this point since the game was going to come out like next week.
Well,
Um,
there was actually something that I heard. That the dude who, if you remember, Chris Pranger, the guy who got fired from Nintendo for
mhm,
being on a podcast, he tweeted that he found out today that because he recorded a voice for a character while he was working at Nintendo. That
yeah.
was, I think it was in the demo. But they re-recorded some lines, so his character, like his voice, is no longer in the game. So that means I mean there might be like a rough script, but it looks like there might have been some rewriting going on.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, Miyamoto mentioned, like, kind of when he was giving his reasons for the delay, that he wanted to adjust the mood of some of the cutscenes,
Yeah,
which is one of like the most weirdly specific delay reasons. That was such a weird delay because it's the only time I've ever heard a delay where he was like, "Yeah, no, the game's done. I just want to work on it some more."
it was a very like naked explanation for
Yeah,
why,
like
which
super honest.
yeah, and it was
Like,
just like the fact that it was like a Facebook message at midnight. Like
yeah, yeah, it was
like that
weird.
was I think I've been doing this stuff for like 8 years. That was the weirdest delay I've ever seen.
At the same time, I guess I was more okay with it because it was just like, oh, you just want to make the story like. I mean, once again, the mood of the cinematics in a Star Fox game are something that I think are really important
Yeah.
to just the overall vibe of the game
Yep.
for how cheesy and delightfully dumb Star Fox is. So if he needs more time to get that right in the perfect cheese center, then yeah, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I
Um, I,
mean, the delay sucks. There's no two ways about it. But if it works out that we gotta wait 5 more months and it's a better game, then that's a net positive at the end of the
right.
day. And the weird thing about it is that at least it seems from what we saw here is they're doubling down on that control scheme. They are doubling down on that control scheme, and I love them
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, no backing away and being like, "Oh, I guess you can play it with the Pro controller."
Yeah.
Like, no. No,
Eh,
it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Why'd you buy a Wii U if you didn't want to play Wii U games?
Yep. Well, I
Like,
mean, that's that. I mean, no one bought a Wii U. That's the answer
that's
to that
fair.
question.
But I bought it and I want to play Wii U
Yeah.
games.
just make a Star Fox Nintendo Land. One person will be in the R wing, the other people will be hiding, um, as enemies, and you chase
Isn't
them.
isn't that Metroid Blast?
Sure. I think that was actually supposed to be a Star Fox game or something at some point, but then they felt that Metroid fit it better. I think or I might be making that up, but I think the Metroid game in Nintendo Land might have had a different skin before then. It might have been Star Fox, but that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking
No,
about right now.
no, we're
Um,
very off. That's okay though.
yeah. So what else do you want to know about Star Fox Zero that we haven't seen so far?
I want like a legit story trailer. Like we've seen a lot of trailers of like, here's Star Fox and he shoots things. Boom. Like I want like a really over
Do,
dramatic.
do like do like the Blizzard World of Warcraft CGI trailer, but for Star
That's
Fox.
that's exactly what I
Like that would
want.
be awesome. Like I don't even
Yeah.
play WoW, but I'll always watch those trailers because I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that is exactly what I want to see for Star Fox.
And I would like to see, I guess, more. I mean, because we have seen gameplay, but I guess with like how refined it looks now, like see a new level in this new
Yeah.
style. Even maybe just have a more direct like here's a comparison between where we were 6 months ago and where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we did see we got a quick glimpse of what's probably Fuchina, like a snow planet
Yeah.
during kind of the gameplay segment. But that's really the only new environment we've seen since E3. I would really like them to show me an environment that wasn't in Star Fox 64.
I mean, I kind of
That
wish
would
there.
be delightful.
If I had a complaint, it's that I wish Star Fox Zero didn't feel like it was just another remake of Star Fox.
Yeah.
I mean that because that's kind of what it feels like, and I don't know if I'm that upset about that because I would love to play something like that, but I mean this Star Fox Zero does seem like it's like okay, so Star Fox was a good game on Super Nintendo, and we remade it essentially on Star Fox 64. Let's just do that again, and I see
Yeah.
the logic there because
It worked.
they've been
I
spinning
mean,
the wheels for 20 years of what to do with Star Fox, and they're like, how about we just do what we did 20 years ago and do it again?
what I mean, to be fair, a lot of the people at this point who are playing Wii U probably weren't even born yet when Star Fox
Yeah,
64 came out.
that's very
So
true. Although they might
this
have
is
played
a
Star Fox 64 on their 3DSs.
that's fair. Yeah, I guess they did kind of do that. So
But even still, I mean,
yeah,
I would love to see kind of more of this that made it its unique game as opposed to something that's like kind of treading on our nostalgia, which
yeah.
I mean, but maybe that's the way that you have to make Star Fox work.
I mean, yeah, it's a franchise that at this point exists on nostalgia and Super Smash Bros.
Yeah,
So I mean, it'd be like if they made a new F-Zero game. You have to make it feel like the old F-Zero games because that's your only fan base.
yeah. I mean, it's for a game that was supposed to come out a week from when we're recording this. We know very little about what this game
Yeah,
actually is, and that's
but
kind of ridiculous. Because like I saw the footage during the direct, and I was very happy. And before we recorded, I kind of looked at it a couple more times, and I'm like, this kind of just looks like exactly what we saw a couple months ago, and that's it.
right.
And
Looks a
that's
little it's a
okay.
little more polished.
Yeah,
Looks a little better.
it looks like
You
it's
can
a
tell
little
that they've
like
been
it's a
working
little
on it.
bigger. Like I
Yeah.
mean, the one thing that kind of stood out to me is when they were talking about the Walker. It looks like they showed that environment that you could go in at the end of the Corneria level from E3, but it was more expansive.
Mhm.
Like you could walk around it as opposed to just walking in a corridor to fight a boss. It was just like
Yeah.
here's an environment that you can walk around in as a walker.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, it is nice to see, when they have a delay like this, it is nice to see more gameplay of it and be like, "Okay, it looks better than it did before."
Yeah.
Like they have taken this delay and they're doing something,
Yep.
which is good. But yeah, we'll just have to wait until we see more to really know for sure, but at least there's bombs.
Yeah. Bombs are back in style. So yeah, that's Star Fox Zero as we know it right now. Next time we get footage, I got fingers crossed for maybe well if Nintendo's at the Game Awards, I think they'd be stupid to not show off Star Fox.
I feel like we just get Zelda again.
Yeah, well, I
We just
mean,
get Miyamoto and Anuma playing Zelda again at that same TV. Like,
and
hey
it would be like,
guys.
"What's up with Star Fox?" And like they laugh about how they were supposed to come out in 2015 and they're
They could
not.
literally show the same video. I guess
This-
Majora's Mask has come out, but that's it. Out of all the things they talked
no, I
about
don't.
in
I
that
don't think.
video,
I think the only thing that they'd have to do is like edit them to say 2016 instead of 2015, and that
they don't
video
even
would
say
work.
they don't even say they don't even say 2016. They just say like next year.
Like, I mean, just looking back at the Game Awards video, like it's just kind of sad because
It is a little depressing.
I remember, I think it was about 11 months ago, you and I recorded a deep dive of that Zelda footage, and we were
Yeah.
filled with such excitement.
Yeah.
And who knew that a year later we would know nothing else about that game?
And we also wouldn't have Star Fox.
Yeah, yeah, but
Ugh.
what a bummer. But I mean, it's coming, and I don't think it's gonna. I think it's solid in that April date. I
Yeah.
guess I could be proven
It-
wrong,
it-
and until proven otherwise, I believe if Nintendo is going to show something at the Game Awards, which seems like it might be likely because I believe Reggie is on the board, like the advisory board
Yeah.
for the Game
Yeah.
Awards, and that will be on December 3rd, which is less than a month from now. I think we will see some Star Fox Zero and some Zelda because
better.
we saw very little Zelda from this Nintendo Direct, and I think there's a lot more Star Fox that Nintendo needs to show before April.
They showed just enough Zelda for me to go,
I
ugh.
legitimately that passed by, and I didn't realize that they showed something from Zelda on Wii U, and then saw online was like, "What the hell?" Oh, that
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's Star Fox Zero.
Next up, our deep dive of that one shot
Yeah.
of Zelda on Wii U.
I mean,
for
we
half
might as
an
well.
hour.
So, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank everyone.
Yay, world.
If you still don't think Star Fox looks good, you're wrong. But subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV for tons of Star Fox coverage. There's a lot of Star Fox videos happening up until the release of Star Fox Zero, and somebody's got to watch them. Might as well be you. And then check out NintendoWorldReport.com for lots of other wonderful Nintendo coverage. And we will talk to you next time there's Star Fox or Zelda footage, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.